কমান্ডস থাকবে সেখানে প্র্যাকটিস করার জন্য, জাস্ট ওই টপ 50 বা টপ 60 কমান্ড।
ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা, এই ইএইচ এর জন্য জাস্ট আউট অফ মাই কিউরিওসিটি,
হুম হুম
এরকম কোনো অপশন, এরকম কোনো সাইট আছে যেখানে আপনি যেটা পড়াবেন,
হুম
ধরুন আপনি আমাদেরকে 3টে কোর্স করালেন 3 দিনের, আর
হুম
আপনি প্র্যাকটিস করতে বললেন, আমরা ওটাকে অনলাইনে গিয়ে যেমন
হুম হুম হুম
যেমন
হুম,
আমরা
করা
এডাব্লিউএস
আছে।
এন্ড আজুরের এই করি, সো দ্যাট আমাদের ওটা যাতে ভুলে না যাই, ইট কিপ অন রোলিং।
হুম হুম আছে। তো এবার প্রত্যেকটা ইএইচ এর এথিক্যাল হ্যাকিং এর কি বলতো, এমনি মানে যখন কোনো কিছু ল্যাব বা কিছু প্র্যাকটিস করবে, তো বিভিন্ন ধরনের কনটেক্সট অনুযায়ী ল্যাব হয়, বুঝতে পেরেছো? মানে কোনো একটা জায়গায় তুমি হয়তো কোনো একটা লিনাক্স মেশিনকে পেনিট্রেট করছো, কোনো একটা জায়গায় তুমি উইন্ডোজ মেশিনকে পেনিট্রেট করছো, তো বিভিন্ন সিনারিও, বিভিন্ন কনটেক্সট হয়, সেই অনুযায়ী ল্যাবগুলো দেবো। এবার আমি যেগুলো করিয়ে দিচ্ছি, এখানে কিছু ইনস্টলেশন পার্ট থাকবে, ইনস্টলেশন পার্টটা আজকে আমি দেখিয়ে দেবো। এবার কিছু ইনস্টলেশন পার্ট থাকবে, সেই ইনস্টলেশন পার্টগুলো তোমাদের প্র্যাকটিস করতে কাজে লাগবে, মানে সেইগুলো, মানে ধরো আমি ল্যাব সেটআপ এখানে করিয়ে দিলাম, ল্যাব সেটআপে আমি ল্যাবটা দেখিয়ে দিলাম এখানে করে, ঠিক আছে?
ঠিক
এখানে
আছে।
করে দেখিয়ে দেওয়ার পরই আমি তোমাদের হয়তো বলবো, যদি টাইম থাকে, তো আমি বলবো যে ওই পার্টিকুলার যে জিনিসটা আমি দেখালাম সেই জিনিসটাকে প্র্যাকটিস করে নাও একবার। যদি সেই দিনের মধ্যে হয়ে গেল ভালো, না হলে বাড়িতে তো তোমার তো ল্যাবটা ইনস্টলড হয়েই রয়েছে, তুমি বাড়িতে প্র্যাকটিস করে নিতে পারবে, ঠিক আছে?
ঠিক আছে।
আর তার সাথে সাথে কিছু আরো ল্যাবস আমি দেবো। তো সেগুলো হচ্ছে ট্রাই হ্যাকমি বলে একটা সাইট আছে, তো ট্রাই হ্যাকমিতে গিয়ে ওই ল্যাবস গুলোকে প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারো।
ওকে।
হুম।
তো এটার জন্য কি আমাদের লিনাক্স সিস্টেম দরকার, উবুন্টু সামথিং?
হ্যাঁ, আমাদের, তোমার কি ভিএমওয়্যার ডাউনলোড করা আছে, মানে সরি,
না,
ভার্চুয়াল বক্স?
আমার
ভার্চুয়াল বক্স
ভার্চুয়াল আমার ভার্চুয়াল বক্স আছে।
ভার্চুয়াল বক্স আছে, তো তাহলে ভার্চুয়াল বক্সে কালিটাকে ইনস্টল করতে হবে।
আচ্ছা।
ভার্চুয়াল বক্সে কালিটাকে ইনস্টল করে নিলে তারপরে ওখান থেকে কালি ইনস্টল করতে হবে, উইন্ডোজ 7 ইনস্টল করতে হবে। আর হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, কালি ইনস্টল করতে হবে, উইন্ডোজ 7 ইনস্টল করতে হবে, আর তার সাথে সাথে পরবর্তীকালে আরো যখন ইন ডেপথে যাবে, এনপিটি বা এগুলোতে আসবে, তখন লাগবে উবুন্টু লাগবে, তারপরে উইন্ডোজ 10 লাগবে,
আচ্ছা।
ঠিক আছে? এখন উইন্ডোজ 7ই প্র্যাকটিস হবে, ইএইচ এর বেসিক মানে পুরোপুরি কোর্সটা উইন্ডোজ 7 এর উপরে বেস করে, ঠিক আছে? এনপিটি 1 এর যেটা পেনিট্রেশন টেস্টিং হবে সেটা উইন্ডোজ 10 এর উপরে বেস করে, এনপিটি 2 তে অ্যাক্টিভ ডিরেক্টরির উপরে, মানে উইন্ডোজ 10 এতে কিভাবে প্রিভিলেজ এসকেলেশন হয় বা উইন্ডোজে কিভাবে প্রিভিলেজ এসকেলেশন হয়,
আচ্ছা।
আচ্ছা। তো সেইগুলো এখন এমপিডি 1 এর মধ্যে এটাও থাকবে কি লিনাক্স মেশিনে কিভাবে প্রিভিলেজ এসকেলেট করতে হয়। এইচ এর মধ্যে আমরা জাস্ট একটা মেটাস্প্লয়েট ফ্রেমওয়ার্কের থ্রু দিয়ে দেখবো যে কিভাবে মানে প্রিভিলেজ এসকেলেশনটা হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে?
ওকে।
মেটাস্প্লয়েট ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক মানে খুব ইনডেপথে গেলে বা আরো পরবর্তীকালে কোনো এক্সাম দিলে তখন মেটাস্প্লয়েট ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক কিন্তু ইউজ করতে দেয় না, ঠিক আছে? মেটাস্প্লয়েট ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক হচ্ছে একদম স্ক্রিপ্টেড ইউজের জন্য।
গট ইট। আচ্ছা।
যাই হোক, এনিওয়ে আজকে আমরা একদম বেসিক থেকে স্টার্ট করছি, যাতে ইএইচ জিনিসটা বা এথিক্যাল হ্যাকিং সাবজেক্টটা না বোরিং হয়ে যায়। তো এথিক্যাল হ্যাকিং সম্বন্ধে কারোর কোনো আইডিয়া?
To gain privilege access without the consent of others.
না, হলো না, ওটা তুমি হ্যাকিং এর ডেফিনেশন বললে, এখানে দুটো টার্ম আছে, একটা হচ্ছে এথিক্যাল আর একটা হচ্ছে হ্যাকিং, রাইট? তো তুমি যেটা বলেছো, হ্যাঁ ঠিক বলেছো। টু গেইন দ্য অ্যাক্সেস অফ সামওয়ান সিস্টেম, অমিত শাইনি হাত তুলেছো, বলো। हाँ, समझा तो सकता हूँ, पर तुम रिस्पॉन्स तो नहीं करते हो, तुमको बार बार तुम तब बुलाया था। हाँ बोलो। तो एथिकल हैकिंग के बारे में कुछ आइडिया है? अच्छा, ओके। ओके, ऑलराइट। तो हाँ, तो सीसीएनए हो गया है, सीसीएनए यहाँ से ही किया है क्या? ओके, ऑलराइट। तो देखो, एथिकल हैकिंग का मतलब एकदम अगर बेसिक टर्म में मैं बताने जाऊँ, तो अंकुश का जो डेफिनेशन है वो ठीक ठाक है, ठीक है? वहाँ पे
এথিক্যাল
अगर,
হ্যাকিং মানে হচ্ছে
হ্যাঁ
স্যার,
বলো রূপম,
এথিক্যাল হ্যাকিং মানে হচ্ছে স্যার
তোমার
কারোর
কথাটা কেটে কেটে যাচ্ছে গো।
এথিক্যাল হ্যাকিং মানে হচ্ছে স্যার
হুম
কোনো কিছু অ্যাক্সেস করা সেটা এথিক্যালি, মানে ল অ্যান্ড মানে এথিক্যাল যে টার্মস এন্ড কন্ডিশন আছে সেটাকে মেনটেন করে কোনো কিছুকে অ্যাক্সেস করা।
Exactly. When we are trying to gain the access of someone's system, then we have to do it ethically. We have to abide by the laws, cyber laws, regulations. Okay, everything. We need to maintain everything. We need to maintain the professional ethics. Okay, during the penetration testing. So we need to gain the access by proper authorization. If we are authorized to take the access, then we can perform that. Otherwise, we can't. Okay. We have to take written permission for that. We have to be authorized for that to gain access of someone's system. We just can't go and perform a penetration testing on someone's system without informing them. It's not an ethical hacking. It's just a hacking. It's a black hat hacking, and it's a criminal offense. It's a criminal activity. Okay. So एथिकल हैकिंग का बेसिक डेफिनेशन यही है। एथिकल हैकिंग का बेसिक डेफिनेशन है व्हेन you are trying to gain the access of someone's system ethically by abiding by all the laws, rules, regulations, terms and conditions, everything. Now, what is hacking? If I want to explain the term hacking individually, then what can I say? Hacking means to gain to gain the access of someone's system. But how can we gain the access of someone's system? We can gain the access of someone's system by finding the vulnerabilities that are present inside that particular system. Only then we can gain the access by exploiting those vulnerabilities. Sometimes there will be no vulnerabilities, but we have to do social engineering to gain the access of the system. We need to gain the remote code execution. That means when we can remotely execute some codes inside someone's system. Okay? That means, for example, Rupam is in another network and I am in the another network. Okay, Rupam is in Delhi, I am in Bangalore, for example, and I want to take the access of Rupam's computer. So how can we do that? Okay, we have to learn that. But how can we perform the penetration testing when the systems are in different locations? Okay. And sometimes, for example, Rupam's computer may or may not have any vulnerability. So I have to perform the social engineering on Rupam. If he lets me in, then I will enter into his system. Okay, that is called hacking. Hacking, before the term actually gets popularized, before the term cybersecurity gets popularized, hacking was actually associated
Sir,
with the bolo, bolo.
can you give brief discussion about social engineering?
Social engineering. Social engineering means when you are trying to manipulate a person. When you are trying to manipulate a person to do some certain activities, okay, that they shouldn't perform. You are making them to perform some illegal activities. You are making them to give access of their systems, to give you the access of their systems by manipulating them, by manipulating their nature, by manipulating their behavior, by manipulating the psychology of those people, those who are from those who doesn't have do not
That means
have
we
any
can.
idea
That
about.
means we have to observe the target
Yes, we
particularly.
have to observe. Proper red teaming is not about I have received an IP and I'm just trying to scan it without knowing anything about it. And that is not the proper red teaming. To do proper red teaming, first we have to gather information about that particular organization. When we are receiving an IP, then we have to gather information passively and actively both.
Should it be physically, sir?
We can do it physically also. If the scenario becomes like that, then we have to do that. We have to do that. We have to be present physically. That is proper red teaming. Proper red teaming is not ethical hacking. There are three levels. First level is the pen testing. Okay, that means you have you have got a system and you need to, test the vulnerabilities, and you need to enter into the system. That is called pen testing. Now, after that comes the ethical hacking. Pen testing is level 1, ethical hacking is level 2. That means when you are trying to gain the access of the system, okay, when you are trying to gain the access of the system by gathering some information, from open source intelligence, OSINT, or from the information that are available in the internet. Okay. Now, after that comes the red teaming. Red teaming is a vast area. A proper red teaming is a vast area. Proper red teaming, for example, I have given you the name of an organization, and you need to perform the penetration testing. You need to enter into the network of that particular organization. How can you do that, right? So you have to first gather information for months. You have to observe the employees, what they are doing, what their vulnerabilities are, what they are sending, what they are receiving. You need to gather information from the from other resources, from human resources, or from any digital resources. Okay, you have to gather information about each and everyone that who are working in that company, about each and everything about that particular company. If you have to be physically present in
এখানে
that
তো তাহলে
particular,
তাহলে তো স্যার ম্যান পাওয়ারের একটু সমস্যা হয়ে যাবে, কারণ
হ্যাঁ?
একটা ধরুন একটা লার্জ কোম্পানিতে প্রচুর প্রচুর জন কাজ করছে, এবার সব
হুম।
ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি সবাইকে তো মানে করা অবজার্ভ করা একজনের পক্ষে কিংবা 10 জনের পক্ষেও সম্ভব নয়, সেখানে
এর
প্রচুর
মধ্যেও
লোক
আবার
লাগবে।
there are some context when you need to be physically present in that particular company, and you need to, inject something malicious into someone's computer by performing social engineering, by manipulating their psychology.
ওকে স্যার।
Okay, you have to be physically present at that time. When it is becoming impossible for you to collect information about everyone, each and everyone, when you are having some issues to, maintain the database about everyone, so you need to be physically present in that particular area to do some social engineering. For example, you have made a person to insert a pen drive into his or her system to showcase your portfolio. For example, you you go there and as an interviewee. Okay, and you are trying to, showcase your portfolio. Okay, so at that time you can make that person to insert the pen drive into his or her system. Please insert the pen drive into please insert my pen drive into your system so that you can view the work tasks that I have performed in the last company, or during the freelancing, or anything like that. When he or she does insert the pen drive into his or her system, then some malicious code gets injected, and from that malicious code, that particular malicious code will run in the backend, and you will gain the access of that particular system. You will just notice everything. You need to pivot. You need to do pivoting. You need to do the lateral movements. Okay, what is lateral movement? Lateral movement that means that is a part of the privilege escalation. Okay, that is a part of the privilege escalation. You will learn that later. You will learn about the pivoting later also in the NPT. when you are in a different network and you want to gain access of someone's computer that is in the different location or in a different office that is in another network. Okay, so that is proper red teaming. Proper red teaming is not the ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is a small area. Proper red teaming is a vast area. Pen testing is more smaller than ethical hacking. Pen testing is the basic level. After that comes the ethical hacking, and after that comes the red teaming. Okay. So, as I said, that before the term cybersecurity got popularized, the term hacking was associated with some malicious activity, was associated with negative perspectives. At that time, people used to perform something. People used to, hack someone's system without their permission, without letting them know that I am entering into your system. Please give me the permission. They didn't do that. That is why the term hacking was associated with malicious activities, with the negative perspectives. When the term cybersecurity got popularized, after that, the ethical hacking term comes into the picture, has come into the picture. Okay. So in ethical hacking, we are properly authorized. Why we are properly authorized to perform a hacking? We are properly authorized to perform a hacking to secure their system. What is the meaning of security? What is the meaning of security, guys?
Protect a system, sir.
Only to protect a system?
Protect, or we can check the vulnerability of the systems, and after that we can protect.
No, I want to know what is the actual meaning of term security. Okay, all right. So the term security means when you are letting someone perform their task uninterruptedly. For example, you have 5 employees in your office and you are in charge of the security. So, first task will be to let those 5 people to work uninterruptedly. That is security. When you are letting your own person to work uninterruptedly, securely, that is security. After that, you will fight against the malicious activities that are coming from the outside world. You are protecting your 5 people. First, you need to ensure that those particular 5 people can work uninterruptedly. The workflow shouldn't get hampered. Okay, you need to ensure that when you are doing or when you are in charge of security, because when you are securing a system, you also need to be careful that if you need to be careful that you are not choking the system, you are not choking the network. If you are doing that, then the usual activity will also get hampered. You will learn all these things, day by day, when you will perform the ethical hacking part. You shouldn't do that. First of all, you need to ensure the uninterrupted workflow, and after that you need to think what I can do to let them work properly and to protect them from the malicious activities. Okay, got my point?
Okay, sir.
কি বুঝতে পারলে বলো?
That means that everyone do their work uninterruptedly, and মানে স্যার আমি আমার কাজটা যেন আমি মানে আনইন্টারাপ্টলি করতে পারি। এবং মাঝখানে কেউ যেন সেটাকে ব্রেক না করতে পারে।
Exactly. Yes, sir. That is the actual meaning of security. Security is not all about fighting with others, with the malicious ones. It is also about protecting your own people, to work or to leave them peacefully or uninterrupted. So I think the term hacking is now clear. You have understood the true meaning of hacking, right? And also the ethical hacking. Everyone? Have you understood, guys? If you are having any issue, then please tell me. Okay, all right. Now, we need to know what are the types of the hackers. There are three types of hackers. First one is the black hat hacker. So, who are the black hat hackers? Black hat hackers means those who perform malicious activities, those who do not take permission from the user of that particular device. Those are the black hat hackers. Okay. Those are the black hat hackers. They do not worry about the cyber law. They do not care about it basically. Okay. They do not care about the cyber laws. They do not care about the rules and regulations. They do not have any ethics. They just want to do that with malicious intention to to get some monetary gain. To have some monetary gain. Okay. They all, they all do. These kind of things for gaining the money, for their financial gain, or for defaming someone. That is the term black hat hacker. That is the people who are accessing someone's system with some malicious intention. Those people can be called as black hat hackers. They are also the cyber criminals. You can also call them as cyber criminals. Okay. After that, the term comes white hat hackers. Who are the white hat hackers? White hat hacker means those who are performing a pen testing ethically. Those who are properly authorized. Those who have taken permissions from the authorities of the company on which they are performing the pen test, or they are performing the scanning of the vulnerabilities. Okay. Those people are the white hat hackers. Now the term comes grey hat hackers. Grey hat hackers are the mixture of black hat hackers and white hat hackers. Okay. They are the mixture of black hat hackers and white hat hackers. Those people are the grey hat hackers. Grey hat hackers do not have any malicious intention. Okay? Grey hat hackers do not have malicious intention, but at the same time that they do not take any permission from the user of that particular system. They just get the, they have just, scan a particular system, test their vulnerability. Sometimes they, enter into the system by exploiting those vulnerabilities. Okay, they also do not care about the cyber laws, but they do not have malicious intention. After getting the access of the system, they will let the authority know that the computers do have some vulnerabilities, and the authority should patch it as soon as possible. And sometimes they also help to patch those systems because they have the proper knowledge in system hacking.
So is grey hat hackers are legal?
Grey hat hackers are also not legal. When you are not taking the permission of someone to enter into his or her system, then it is not legal. Grey hat hackers are also not legal. But yes, they do not have malicious intention. They are doing that for the for making the company better or for securing the company. But still, what they are not doing that in the proper way. This is not a proper way of doing that. At the same time, black hat hackers are more skilled than white hat hackers. Black hat hackers are more skilled than white hat hackers because white hat hackers get the system, get the access of the system. The firewall may be, I mean, kept off. Okay, the other securities can be kept off so that the white hat hackers can pen test the system. But in case of black hat hackers, they need to evade everything. They need to evade intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system. They need to evade the antivirus. They need to evade the firewall. Everything. They need to evade everything. So they are more skilled, way more skilled than white hat hackers. But obviously, what they are doing, they are not doing something good. I mean, what they are doing with malicious intents. They are doing that with some malicious intents. That is unacceptable. Someone shouldn't do that. Even if you have some skills, then that's good. Take the permission of that particular authority and do perform that. Let them know that I do not want to keep your firewall off, or to keep your antivirus off. I can evade everything. If you do have skills, then tell them, take their permission, do it legally. Now, other types of hackers are also there. First one is the script kiddies. Script kiddies, who are the script kiddies? Those who do not have any idea about hacking. I mean, they do have the idea of hacking, but they do not have in-depth knowledge of pen testing or hacking. They do have basic ideas. They rely on some tools that are available on the internet. They can't write their own scripts. They are unable to write their own scripts. They rely on the tools. Those people are the script kiddies. Those people are the script kiddies. Okay. After that, the term comes hacktivists. So who are the hacktivists? Do you have guys any idea who are the activists? You have heard the term activists, right? But you do not have heard. You haven't heard the term hacktivists. So do you have any idea? Do you have any basic knowledge, or can you answer that from your, basic understanding? What you are thinking about it? What are your thoughts about hacktivists? Hacktivists. What can be the definition of hacktivists?
The activists doing their job with political agenda.
No. First of all, you have to be familiar with the term activists, what they are doing. Think about it. Okay, all right. No problem. Hacktivists means those who have who have some ideologies, that can be against the government. Okay, they want free society. They want freedom of speech. They want the freedom of speech in the internet. Everyone should have, their ideologies say that everyone should have access the internet, should have access to the internet, should have access of the internet or of the network. They should do something freely. If they are trying to say something, they can speak freely. Okay, these are the ideologies of an activist. Sometimes they do not support the activities of the government when government is doing something mass surveillance kind of thing. Okay, that is not ethical. Activists are against that particular thing. They try to save people from those particular things. They do have very good knowledge about hacking, about system hacking. They are not script kiddies. They do have proper knowledge. Sometimes whistleblowers can be hacktivists. Whistleblowers like Snowden, Julian Assange. Julian Assange is not a whistleblower actually. He can be called as a hacktivist. Snowden was a whistleblower. Okay. Those who who have shown the people the true picture what government is doing. They do not support the illegal activities of the government, even if they are government employees. Okay, those people are called hacktivists. After that, state-sponsored hackers. So, who are the state-sponsored hackers? State-sponsored hackers means those who are performing some pen testing by the permission of the government, those who are working for the government, those who take part in the cyber warfare. Okay? Those who take part in the cyber warfare. Those particular people are the state-sponsored hackers. They also do have very good knowledge in system hacking. But what they do, they obey or they abide by the rules of the government or the orders of the government. If the government is saying them to do mass surveillance, to spy on someone, they have to do that because they are doing government job and their ideologies sometimes match with the government. Okay. So those people are the state-sponsored hackers. Now the term comes freakers. So who are the freakers? Freakers term is not, is not popularized now. Is kind of obsolete. Okay. Freakers term is now obsolete. It was popular in the time 70s or 80s when people didn't have the access of VoIP. Okay, they have to call someone through the phone line, telephone lines, where you need to dial the number from a payphone or from the landline, and you have to make the call during the 70s or 80s. Actually, what freakers do, freakers make free calls. Freakers used to make free calls by manipulating the signal of the telephone line. They actually discovered the blue box technology. So what is blue box technology? Blue box technology is kind of a dial pad, is kind of a phone that can be attached with the actual phone. Now, when you are attaching that particular, blue box that you have made, when you are attaching it with the actual phone, then you do not have to pay the price, but you can make calls. How can they do that? They can do that by manipulating the electrical signals. Okay? They had the ability to do that at that time. Now the term is obsolete. Okay, these are the types of hackers. So have you guys understood guys what is
Yes, sir.
hacking? What are the types of hackers?
Yes, sir.
What is hacking? Okay. Now we will discuss the 5 phases of hacking. So what are the 5 phases of hacking? First phase is the reconnaissance. Reconnaissance means to recon, to do, to perform recon, to gather information about someone. That is reconnaissance. When, for example, if I want to make an analogy, and what can I say? Uh, for example, you want to break into an office, right? You want to break into an office. So first you need to know where the door is placed, where the door is situated in that particular company. You have to gather information about that. You need to check that which is the entry point of that company. That is called the information gathering. After that, you need to scan that particular door, whether the security is present inside the door, in front of the door or inside the door, whether the door is made of wood or whether the door is made of glass. You need to check everything, whether you can when you are performing the scanning actively, when you are performing the scanning actively, but that means you are checking that particular thing, that particular, whether it is made of glass, whether the security is present or not. You are doing the scanning for detecting the vulnerabilities. Why are you trying to detect that whether the glass is made of wood or glass? Because you are testing whether you can break into that particular door, whether you can unlock the door or not, right? If the security is present, then it will be hard for you to gain the access of that particular door. Whether the security is not present, then you can do it easily. Whether the door is made of glass, then you can break it. Whether if the door is made of wood or steel, then you have to perform something other. You have to think out of the box how to enter into it. So when you are performing the scanning, you are also detecting the vulnerabilities. After gathering information, you need to perform the scanning part. And when you are doing the scanning part, you are gathering some information to detect the vulnerabilities that can be present inside that system. So now, for example, you have found a vulnerability that the door is made of wood, but the door doesn't have a security. So what you can do, that you have also found that there is a lock inside the door. So you have made a master key and you have unlocked the door. You have that skill, for example. So you have entered the door, you have entered into the office but through that particular door. So that particular thing is the gaining access. Then that means you have gained access of that particular office. That part is called the gaining access. When you have gained access, you need to stay there. You need to roam around. You need to check everything of that office. And you also have to ensure you have to also ensure that someone shouldn't detect you, or the or someone make you to to exit that particular office. Okay, you need to ensure that. So that is called the maintaining access. When you can roam inside that particular, roam around inside that particular office without getting detected. Okay? That is maintaining access. And after that, when you have roamed around, when you have gathered some information about that particular office, when you have gained the privilege, when you have gained the access of the CEO's room, so you need to exit from the office. You need to exit from that office. So when you are trying to exit from that office, you need to cover your tracks. You need to clear the footprints that you have left. So that is the covering the tracks. Okay, that is the last part. When you are trying to exit from that particular system, you have to do that. You have to cover your tracks. Okay, so these are the 5 phases. Now if I want to say it in terms of system, in terms of a computer, when you have received an IP, right? So after received an IP, you need to check everything. You need to get the information about that particular IP. Okay, you need to get every information that is available in the internet, that is available in the ocean, that is available in the dark web. You need to check everything about that. Okay. For example, you have received the name of a particular company. You have even you didn't even get the IP address of a company, IP address of a system. You just have received a name of a company. So you need to check everything. You need to check each and every aspect of that particular company. Okay. After checking each and every aspect of that particular company, you have come to know that there is a computer in that particular company which has an IP address, for example 192.168.0.1. You have come to know that this is the private IP address of that particular system. Okay, so you have come to know. Now what you can do, you need to perform the scanning part. When you are actively gathering the information, you are creating some footprints. Okay? When you are actively gathering some information about a particular system, you are creating some footprints, and those particular footprints need to be removed. Okay, so when you are gaining the access of the system, when you have received the IP of the particular system, you are performing the scanning part. You are actively gathering the information, and when you are trying to actively gathering the information of the particular system, at that time you have come to know that some vulnerabilities are present inside the system. For example, some vulnerabilities are present inside a particular service that is running inside a particular port of that particular system. Okay, so now you will find a way to exploit that particular vulnerability. If the exploits are not available in the internet, so you need to have your own exploit, right? You need to have write your own exploit if that particular exploit is not present in the internet. Okay, so after that, what you can do, after exploiting that particular vulnerability, you have entered into the system, you have gained the access of the system, right? You have entered into the system by exploiting the vulnerability. You have gained the access of that system. So this is the gaining access part. After gaining access, you need to maintain the session. The session means the connection that has been created between your computer and the victim's computer. You need to maintain the session. Okay, you need to maintain that particular session. If the session gets terminated, then you need to perform everything from the beginning. Okay, so it is very important to maintain that particular session. So that is maintaining access. That part is called the maintaining access. And after that, you need to at the same time, not after that, at the same time, you also need to gather information about that particular system. You have to perform lateral movement. Okay, you have to perform horizontal and vertical privilege escalation both. Okay, Horizontal and vertical privilege escalation both. What is horizontal and what is vertical privilege escalation? In case of horizontal in case of horizontal privilege escalation, for example, you are a normal user and you are trying to gain another user. You are trying to gain the access of you are trying to gain the access of an account that is used by another user, and that particular user has some access that you do not have. Okay? And you want to gain his or her access. So what you can do? You can do the horizontal privilege escalation. And if you want to gain the access of the root, okay, that then at that time you need to perform the vertical privilege escalation. So you have to perform that after maintaining the access. I mean at the same time. Okay. After performing all these things, you need to exit from that system. You need to terminate that session. Before terminating the session, you need to cover your tracks. You need to delete all the processes that is running inside the system. That is, I mean, the processes that are related to you, obviously. You need to clear all those processes. Okay? And just exit from the system. That is covering tracks. So these are the 5 phases of hacking. The idea is clear about the 5 phases of hacking.
Yes, sir.
বলো।
যেটা আপনি বলছিলেন এখানে কি I have to maintain the session. Now let's say somebody has actually got access to my system, okay, but given that I work for a I work at a very senior level at my project, they wanted to know what's going on.
Hmm.
So they don't want to do it at this point of time, but maybe they just wanted to keep on monitoring.
Hmm.
So that means whenever they want to try to monitor, they have to enable the access again, like starting from that ground zero,
No.
step zero.
If you create a backdoor, okay, if you create a backdoor, then you can gain the access of the system whenever you want.
But every time, let's say if I am switching off my laptop,
Hmm.
okay, then the session will get terminated technically, right?
Yeah, session will get terminated, but that doesn't mean anything. When you are creating a backdoor, the backdoor creation is another thing. When you are creating a backdoor, that means in the back I mean, you are creating an invisible door for yourself only. Okay, for yourself only. Acha, just a minute, I have received a call, just a minute. Okay, what I was saying, yeah, when you are creating a backdoor, so you can gain the access of the system even if the session is terminated. You are just creating a door for yourself only, that the owners of that particular system doesn't know. The owner of that particular system doesn't know that about that.
But eventually it will be on the net at the network level, right?
Yeah, obviously everything when you are performing web application penetration testing is limited. After at some point you need to do, I mean, you need to enter into the network. You need to perform the network penetration testing. Okay, I mean concepts. You need to apply the concept. You need to implement the concepts that are present in the network penetration testing. At some point, you have to do that. Otherwise, you can't gain the access of the systems that. I mean, you can't gain the access of an entire network. Can't gain the access of an entire network. You can't do that without implementing the concepts of network penetration testing. I think the idea is clear now. The 5 phases of hacking, right? Okay. So I think you have got some idea what sets the ethical hackers apart from the hackers. Ethical hackers and hackers are two different terms. Ethical hackers means those who are performing, those who are doing something ethically. Hackers means those who are not doing things ethically. So what sets ethical hackers apart from the normal hackers or from the malicious ones? What are the traits, what are the characteristics of an ethical hacker? So the traits and the character or the characteristics of an ethical hacker is to perform the authorized. They are what they are doing. They are doing everything ethically. They are doing that with proper authorization. That is the first point. After that, they adhere or they abide by the laws or ethics or rules or regulation of the cyber world. Okay? They respect the laws, they respect the ethics, they respect the professionalism, they respect the privacy and secrecy of data. Okay. That is the second point. The third point is to they do not have the malicious intention. They have the intention to do to make the infrastructure better, to make the security of a particular system better, to patch the vulnerabilities of a particular network or of a particular system, so that everyone who are present inside that network, who are working inside that network, can work uninterruptedly. Their workflow doesn't get hampered. Okay. Their workflow doesn't get hampered. That is the third point. Now, what are the other points? Like they properly report, they properly make the reports of a particular vulnerability and submit that particular report to the authority. Okay. If someone, just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Actually, I was taking an exam, so the students are calling. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. What was I saying? They yeah, they make the reports properly. Okay. So what they do, they make the reports properly. They submit the reports properly to the authority of the system. They submit the report to the authority of system properly. They make reports on the vulnerabilities that they have found. They can also tell the authorities to patch those vulnerabilities, because they know that. You have to know that if you want to be a good hacker, then you have to know how to mitigate those vulnerabilities. You need to know that. You need to patch that particular vulnerabilities. You need to secure the system. That is why you can call yourself a cybersecurity expert or a cybersecurity professional or a cybersecurity analyst, whatever. When you have the idea how to penetrate a system, at the same time how to secure a system. Okay. After that, you need to, I mean, they have the transparency and communication kind of thing. Okay, they properly communicate with the authorities of the company. So these are the points that sets the ethical hackers apart from the hackers. Okay, these are the points. So now I think you have gained the basic knowledge. What are the skills of an ethical hacker, right? I think you have gained the knowledge. Okay, you have got the basic understanding about what can be the skill sets of an ethical hacker. What can be the skill sets of an ethical hacker? Okay, so what can be the skill sets of an ethical hacker? If I ask you guys, what can be the skill sets of an ethical hacker? What skills should be possessed by an ethical hacker? What skills should be possessed by an ethical hacker? Just tell me from your basic understanding. What have you understood till now?
They maintain the cyber law at first.
Only to maintain the cyber law.
At
What?
first maintain the cyber law,
Okay.
uh, mm, then gaining access.
Hmm.
After
How to
that,
gain access?
no again, no.
What?
Then we have to footprinting.
No. So
Then that's mean information gathering.
what should be the skill set? We are gathering the information, but how? How can we gather the information? What should be the skill set? What should be the skills? What should be possessed by the ethical hackers to gain the to gain the information about a particular system?
Understanding of vulnerabilities and exploits,
Yes,
then networking skills,
exactly.
bash
After that,
scripting skills, let's say operating systems to troubleshoot and all.
yes, good. After that,
And then you have, obviously, I have to break the firewall. So how the web application security work, and
mm,
they have to have knowledge of that OWASP top 10 जो patterns है.
yeah,
Okay,
okay,
the compliance and the legal knowledge, because
good.
there are a
You
lot of
need to,
compliance like let's HIPAA,
yes,
FIPS,
yes,
GDPR.
exactly.
And then I think the best part or the biggest part is continuous learning, because it's like a never ending story for the hackers or for the ethical hackers or whoever in the security, because
Exactly.
the security for last 3 years has doubled up, right? If I see the
Right.
next 3 years, now the worm GPT things are come. So yeah, it's a continuous learning.
Yeah, good. So these can be the aspects that Ankush told, that those skills should be possessed by an ethical hacker. They first need to learn the how to write a script, how to code, how to program, how to do programming. They need to learn the languages. They need to learn the programming languages first. They need to learn the programming languages first, because ethical hackers are not the script kiddies. When you are learning at the very basic level, you can be that. But after sometimes, when you are getting the experience, when you are, being an experienced ethical hacker, at that time you need to, write your own scripts. So for writing your own scripts, you need to perform the programming. You need to learn the self scripting. Okay, you need to do that. You need to do all these things. So that is the first skill set. Okay, so now what can be the second skill set? Networking. You need to, as an ethical hacker, you need to learn the networking properly. If you do not learn the networking, then at some point you will get stuck when you are performing the network penetration testing. All right. So you need to have the proper knowledge of network penetration testing, or you do have the proper knowledge about networking. Okay, you should have that. An ethical hacker should have that. Should have that knowledge. Okay, the basic ideas of networking should be clear. Basic ideas of networking should be clear. Okay, that is the second skill set. We have discussed the first type of skill set, that is programming, and the second type of skill set, that is networking. After that, we need to learn the frameworks. We need to learn the compliances, right? We need to learn how to comply with the frameworks. Okay, we need to learn some basic tools. The ethical hackers should learn some basic tools that are required to gain the access of a system, or not to gain the access of a system, to scan the network, to scan a particular system. Okay? Some basic tools, some necessary tools are required, and you need to learn that those tools properly. After that, when you are writing a malicious code, when you are writing a malware, okay, when you are injecting a malicious software, at that particular time you also need to learn the operating system. You have to gain the proper knowledge about the operating system. Okay, you need to learn all the aspects related to operating system, how Linux works or how Windows works. Okay, how or how Unix works, right? You need to learn all those things. Okay, so that is these skill sets should be possessed by the ethical hackers. I think the concept is now clear, right? Just a minute, guys. I am receiving another call again.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
সবাই আছো ক্লাসে?
হ্যাঁ,
অমিত
হ্যাঁ,
সাইনি, অমিত সাইনি, দেয়ার? আচ্ছা, সবাইকে বলছি क्लासे रेस्पॉन्स करते হবে, क्लास में रेस्पॉन्स करना है। अमित, ठीक है? आज पहला क्लास है ना, तो क्लास में रिस्पॉन्स करोगे और सर से कोई भी क्वेरी होगा तुरंत पूछो। अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है वो নোট करके रखो, नेक्स्ट क्लास में बताओ, ঠিক है? সবাইকে বললাম, সবাই শুনতে পাচ্ছ তো? সায়ক, অঙ্কুশ, নিহার, রূপম
হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ
ম্যাডাম,
ম্যাম, সব শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
and if you want any doubt class after 10 or 12 classes, we can arrange a doubt session after you're completing the course. We can arrange it, okay? But regular जो भी जानना है, regular doubts must inform in the class, okay? সবাই বুঝেছো? অমিত, ठीक है? अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है, मेरा नंबर तो है तुम लोग के पास वो बैच में ही, तो मेरे को डायरेक्ट बताओ, हम लोग वो सर से बात करके वो तुरंत ही उसका हल निकालेंगे, ठीक है? कोई भी प्रॉब्लम होगा या तो फिर कोई जानना है, कुछ भी पूछना है तो ग्रुप में करो, ठीक है?
ठीक है मैडम।
और 2 फीडबैक फॉर्म जाएगा। जैसे आज का क्लास पहला है, 5 क्लास के बाद फीडबैक फॉर्म जाएगा। एक फीडबैक फॉर्म भरना है उसी टाइम में, फर्स्ट 5 क्लास के बाद जब हम देंगे वो होगा फर्स्ट फीडबैक फॉर्म। उसके जरिए हम लोग समझेंगे कि तुम लोग का क्लासेस ठीक चल रहा है या नहीं। अगर किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम है, उसमें कोई नाम नहीं रहता है, लेकिन हम लोग को जानना है कि कोई दिक्कत हो रहा है या नहीं। अगर हो रहा है तो तुरंत वहीं से हम लोग कुछ करेंगे, नहीं हो रहा है तो छोड़ दो, मतलब कुछ दिक्कत नहीं है, क्लासेस ऑनगोइंग चलेगा। उसके बाद 15 ক্লাসেস, 10 ক্লাস, কতগুলো ক্লাস হয় আমাদের? 20টা তো। 15 क्लासेस के बाद और एक जाएगा फाइनल फीडबैक बोल के। वो फाइनल फीडबैक तुम लोग को सबको भरना होगा, ठीक है? क्योंकि वो तुम्हारा फीडबैक के जरिए बाकी का क्लास कैसा चल रहा है, डाउट क्लास चाहिए या नहीं, और ये जाएगा। और सर का भी और एक तो फीडबैक जाएगा। ये फीडबैक फॉर्म बहुत मायने रखता है, तुम लोग के लिए तो ज्यादातर और हम लोग के लिए भी, ठीक है? ঠিক আছে সবার?
ওকে ম্যাম।
ঠিক আছে,
হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম, ঠিক আছে।
হ্যাঁ, ক্লাস করো। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Okay, so guys, you have understood what madam told. Okay, so let's continue the class. So